All right, we should be good. Y'all know what to do. We should be back in the building. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We are back at it, looking all crispy and clean on the screen. And welcome everybody who's in here. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE, at patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, the link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. And we're going to be talking about some stuff today. As many of you know, Jimmy Kimmel's back. Some of you are happy about it. Some of you are outraged about it. Others of you don't care. Probably me. But we do have some things we're going to talk about, and we're going to be reacting to Jimmy's first day back and hear what he had to say, not only to the people of America and the people of the world, because the world is watching, but we're going to hear what he has to say to the Kirk family and the president as well. So we'll get into that. We got some Karen Reed, as y'all saw as well. YouTube is censoring content. I know many of you aren't shocked. I'm not shocked, but we're going to talk about what's going on with YouTube and that whole situation, along with a lot of other things. So shout out to the gang that's in here, man. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Wow, we've already got 1,200 likes. My goodness. Before I start talking about likes, though, I gotta say what's up to the people, man. We've got my awesome, amazing Amy in here first thing, doing what she does, and that's be amazing. She can't help it. We got the big dog Jay Money in here. Les Cleaver's in the building. Jay Buckmaster's back at it. Mary's in here. Oh my God. We've got Taco Tuesday. Kara Hampton's back at it as well. Good to see y'all. We've got Trisha in here. We've got D, my guy. Shout out to D. And many of you are in here as well. So I will be saying what's up to y'all as we go throughout the show. Thank you again to everyone that's already in here. Thank you all for liking the video. Over 1,200 likes is crazy to start the show. If you haven't yet, please like the video. It's the only thing I ask, really. Just make sure you take a second, like the video. It's free and lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show. It shares the video, this channel, this live stream, every single video we've released in the past, and every single video we'll release in the future with more people. So if y'all could, please take less than a second and like the video. It helps us out a lot. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you can share the video as well. There's a nice little button. It's got an arrow curved and pointed to the right. You can click that, share the video on X, Instagram, wherever you are, Facebook, even to your group chat or via text. All right. So if y'all have done that, thank you so much. So many of you guys do that every single morning during the show. So thank y'all for the support. I also will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. And so many of you are already in here dropping the super chat. Shout out to my guy, Les Cleaver, gifting 5 memberships. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Les, one of the hardest working, if not the hardest working people in the community. He's always out here getting it in, and he gifted 5 memberships to you guys. So if you got a membership from Les, type his name in the chat, say thank you, because man, he's always supporting. All right. Shout out to Les Cleaver. Also, while you've got your membership, your name's going to be highlighted in that beautiful green in the chat, and you get an opportunity to check out the members only content and preview any video we drop here on the channel instantly. All right. You don't have to wait like everybody else who's not a member, which they're okay too. So we appreciate all of y'all, but special shout out to the members. Les Cleaver again, dropping the 10 bomb, and he says, hump day, all. Raise your hands and praise God, our wonderful God, for a blessed day and love for all. Be kind to others and help those in need. Sing a joyful song and lift up your heart in praise. Amen and amen. Shout out to Les Cleaver, and thank you so much for the continued support, my brother. I appreciate you, and for that good word too. Let me see. I think I've got everyone in there so far. Thank you all for the major support. I cannot believe we're at 1,200 likes already. Y'all are absolutely amazing. Under Oath is in the building too. Good morning, Under Oath. And I see a bunch of y'all in here as well. So let's go ahead and get into it, because as y'all know, we always have a lot to cover on the channel. So let me put Amy's comment back up here so y'all can remember to like the video, because I know we've got people joining throughout the day, leaving and coming back. So thank you again to everyone that's in here. Let's go ahead and get into it. So as you all know, and we've covered here on this channel, there was a whole entire issue and a whole entire debacle with Jimmy Kimmel getting essentially fired in some ways, and his show was suspended indefinitely. If you don't know why, a little bit of a background. He made some comments about the alleged assassin involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and it was not liked by a lot of people. Specifically, was not liked by the President of the United States and the FCC chair, Mr. Carr. Mr. Carr came out and he made some statements. We talked about it in another video. Mr. Carr, Chairman Carr, is saying that it wasn't a threat. It was just a heavy suggestion, right? So he came out and he mentioned that. He said, hey, I wasn't trying to threaten them. It's not a big deal. Well, we found out now that Disney actually reinstated and they brought Jimmy's show back. A lot of people were excited and it seemed like free speech was back. All right. Your rights aren't threatened. The First Amendment is well intact. So we're going to get into what Jimmy actually had to say his first night back on the show. Now, even though he was back, there were still a lot of stations that didn't want to host the show, and we're going to get into that shortly. But let's see what the Disney company had to say about their suspension or their preemption of Jimmy Kimmel's show. What did they say? The Walt Disney Company issued the following statement today regarding Jimmy Kimmel Live. They said, last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country, which was true. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed. I mean, considering Jimmy's job, you can agree or disagree with that, and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. Now, as I mentioned, even though Disney said they were going to return the show, there were still several corporations and several broadcasting companies that were not down with broadcasting what Jimmy Kimmel said. So check this out from Nexstar. They say Nexstar ABC affiliates to continue preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live. All right, and this happened just yesterday afternoon. Nexstar Media Group Incorporated announced that the company owned and partner television stations affiliated with the ABC television network will continue to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live. They said they weren't going to show it. We made a decision last week to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live following what ABC referred to as Mr. Kimmel's ill-timed and insensitive comments at a critical time in our nation's discourse. We stand by that decision pending assurance that all parties are committed to fostering an environment of respectful and constructive dialogue in the markets we serve. In the meantime, we note that Jimmy Kimmel Live will be available nationwide on multiple Disney-owned streaming products, while our stations will focus on continuing to produce local news and other programs relevant to their respective markets. Hey, again, private company doing different things. I don't have a problem with that. And anyone I think who believes in free speech and somewhat of capitalism would agree with that. So I'm done talking. Let's go ahead and hear what Jimmy had to say his first night back on the show. This gets interesting.
Thank you. Anyway, as I was saying before I was interrupted, if you're just joining us, we are preempting your regularly scheduled encore episode of Celebrity Family Feud to bring you this special report. I'm happy to be here tonight with you. I'm not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol.
We're going to talk about that later.
It's been overwhelming. I've heard from a lot of people over the last 6 days. I've heard from all the people in the world over the last 6 days. Everyone I have ever met has reached out 10 or 11 times. Weird characters from my past are the guy who fired me from my first radio job in Seattle, where we are not airing tonight, by the way. Sorry, Seattle. His name is Larry. In 1989, Larry tried to force me to do a bit called Jokes for Donuts, where people would call in with a joke and I would give them donuts. I refused to do it, and then I made a lot of fun of Larry for suggesting it, and eventually Larry fired me, and I had to move back in with my parents. But even he wrote in to cheer me up. Thank you, Larry, and I want to thank everyone who checked in. It would take all week to list all of them, but some that I do especially want to mention are my fellow late-night talk show hosts, my friend Stephen Colbert.
He got a lot of support.
Found himself in his predicament. My friends Jon Stewart, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, John Oliver, Conan O'Brien, James Corden.
All right, let's get to the meeting because this is thinking a lot of people.
This country has become so authoritarian, the Germans are like, come here, come loose. My boyhood idols, Howard Stern and David Letterman, were very considerate and kind, and I feel honored to be part of a group of people that knows what goes into doing a show like this. And I also want to thank all of you.
Listen, he's saying that it's somewhat funny and somewhat in just a polite way, but it's seeming like the people really had a voice in this. A lot of people were boycotting. They were canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions, and it's being reported that Disney lost multi billions of dollars, millions of dollars. I don't know. Y'all have to let me know if you think those numbers are accurate or not, but the people really had a voice in this and saw that they could make a difference. Interesting.
Thanks, dude.
Shout out to Jimmy.
You supported our show, cared enough to do something about it, to make your voices heard so that mine could be heard. I will never forget it. And maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway.
That's me.
Or I never would have imagined, like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf.
I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired.
Oh, wait, no, not that. The other part.
But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying,
well,
we
can't
like
say
what you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like, that will end up bad for conservatives.
I don't think I've ever said this before, but Ted Cruz is right. He's
I can see it
right.
too.
It affects all of us, including him. I mean, think about it. If Ted Cruz can't speak freely, then he can't cast spells on the Smurfs. Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it. And thanks. For telling their followers that our government cannot be allowed to control what we do and do not say on television, and that we have to stand up to it. I've been hearing a lot about what I need to say and do tonight, and the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man.
Oh, he's crying. Oh, man. Are y'all buying it? Listen, I appreciate it. I don't know. Does this count as an apology? If he says it was never my intention, that's not really an apology. All the men out there, you want to know how if it's an apology or not? If you don't take out the trash and your wife's like, hey, you didn't take out the trash. You say, oh, babe, it was never my intention to not take out the trash. Is that an apology? I don't think so. I'm not buying it, but shout out to Jimmy. He said it. I don't think it's an apology.
I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and
that's not an apology,
even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever. And also, selfishly, I am a person who gets a lot of threats. I get many ugly and scary threats against my life, my wife, my kids, my coworkers because of what I choose to say. And I know those threats don't come from the kind of people on the right who I know and love. So that's what I wanted to say on that subject. But I don't want to make this about me because, and I know this is what people say when they make this
I don't know what he's
apologizing for. This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this.
I agree.
I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with comedians and talk show hosts from countries like Russia, countries in the Middle East, who tell me they would get thrown in prison for making fun of those in power, and worse than being thrown in prison. They know how lucky we are here. Our freedom to speak is what they admire most about this country. And that's something I'm embarrassed to say I took for granted until they pulled my friend Steven off the air and tried to coerce the affiliates who run our show in the cities that you live in to take my show off the air. That's not legal. That's not American. That is un-American, and it is so dangerous.
Yeah, and again, I said this in several past videos. Y'all can check the receipts. I looked at the statement from Jimmy when it first came out, and I kind of waited. And then I looked at it again. I said, I don't really see the big deal with this statement. Again, he's giving his opinion. Now, if the private company he works for, they look at this and they say, Jimmy, that was out of bounds, man. You got to go. That wouldn't be an attack on free speech, right? Because if your company doesn't like what you're saying and they've given you a platform to say something and they say that's too much, they can fire you at any time, right? The issue I had, and a lot of people had, was with the FCC chair basically saying, hey guys, we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. Yeah, that didn't seem right to me. And it was definitely getting into a gray area of, are we really going to be censoring and regulating to that extent someone giving their opinion? I didn't see it. I want y'all to let me know what you think about this in the comments and in the chat. I mean, was Jimmy Kimmel right? Was Disney right by bringing him back? Should they have stood 10 toes down? Was the FCC chair right? Was Donald Trump right? I want to know what y'all think. And we're actually going to get into the rest of this in a second. I just wanted to take a moment and thank all 900 of you that are in the building. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, the FCC, I mean, they should have sat this one out and just waited for the complaints to come in. Because think about it. All Jimmy said was, hey, there's this guy that's being investigated and has allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk. And this other side's doing everything they can to distance themselves from him when it looks like he was a part of their group. Was it insensitive? Was it untimely? I don't know. I feel like not only worse things have been said, the timing of things have been worse. So, I don't know. The FCC needs to investigate their rules even further before coming out and saying anything. Have their ducks in a row before opening their mouths. Yeah, I mean, the president, he was like, oh, he's gone. This is great because I can't stand that guy. That to me wasn't even a big deal, right? Because the president's allowed to not like Jimmy Kimmel and he's allowed to celebrate him losing his job and being off of the air. As weird as that seems. What's not okay is a government official like the FCC saying, hey, listen, I don't like what that man said and I'm going to start moving things around if y'all don't take care of this. That's weird, man. And then for him to somewhat backtrack on it and slightly double down, I wasn't feeling. But either way, thank y'all. I appreciate the insight and I'd love to see y'all's comments in the chat too. I think it's a good statement by Jimmy, and I think he has a right to be on his platform if Disney wants him to and say what he wants to say. So let's actually get back into Jimmy's segment from last night because he had some more interesting things to say, not only about what he was hearing as he was going through this issue with the show being suspended, but what's going to happen moving forward. Check this out.
I want you to think about this. Should the government be allowed to regulate which podcasts the cell phone companies and Wi-Fi providers are allowed to let you download to make sure they serve the public interest? You think that sounds crazy? No! 10 years ago, this sounded crazy.
Well, it depends.
Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. In addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing car Republicans have embraced since this one. And that's saying something.
No, that's dope. I would drive that.
The FCC has a tradition of meddling where they shouldn't under many administrations, but it wasn't always like this. There was an FCC commissioner back in 2022 who worked under Joe Biden,
wild.
who was spot on. He wrote, "President Biden is right. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship." You know who wrote that?
Guess who said that?
FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr,
Dang.
who later was appointed chairman of the FCC by this former crusader for free speech.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple. Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down.
That was also in 2022. And I wonder, how did that guy turn into this guy?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
A lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel look, he was fired. He had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent to get ratings. But he had no ratings.
Well,
Listen, guys, listen. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think it's absolutely hilarious. The president doesn't like him. He doesn't have to like you. But if there's a way they could prove he was actively involved in trying to get this man's job taken out, then we'll have an issue. But Trump continuing to say, I can't stand this guy. I don't like him. They should let him go. He stinks. I mean, maybe it's because I somewhat agree.
A lot of people have no talent to get ratings. But he had no
Yeah,
ratings.
Jimmy's cooking.
well, I do tonight. Thank you.
Shout out to Jimmy.
You almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might
did.
have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now.
Oh, dang. Shots fired.
Now, a lot of people have been asking me if there are conditions for my return to the air, and there is one. Disney has asked me to read the following statement, and I've agreed to do it. Here we go. To reactivate your Disney Plus and Hulu account.
That's hilarious.
Open the Disney Plus app on your smart TV or TV connected device. I've been
That's hilarious.
fortunate to
Those
work
files
at a
ain't coming
company that has allowed me to do the show the way we want to do it for almost 23 years. I've done almost 4,000 shows on ABC, and over that time, the people who run this network have allowed me to evolve and to stretch the boundaries of what was once traditional for a late night talk show, even when it made them uncomfortable, which I do a lot. Every night, they've defended my right to poke fun at our leaders and to advocate for subjects that I think are important by allowing me to use their platform, and I'm very grateful
true.
for that. With that said, I was not happy when they pulled me off the air on Wednesday. I did not agree with that
He doubled
decision, and I
down,
told
too.
them that, and we had many conversations. I shared my point of view. They shared theirs. We talked it through, and at the end, even though they didn't have to, they really didn't have to. This is a giant company. We have short attention spans, and I am a tiny part of the Disney Corporation. They welcomed me back on the air, and I thank them for that.
Very tiny part.
That unfortunately, and I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader
That's fine.
celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't.
What do you guys think about this? I have to know from somebody who's not in this arena. Do you guys think it was out of bounds for the president to say, I can't stand these guys. I hope they go off the air? I mean, to me, if we're going to talk about free speech, if you get to poke fun at the president, he could say, man, these guys are trash. I mean, is he really going to benefit anything from this? I don't know. I mean, he's been saying this for over a decade. I just think that's his opinion. He doesn't like them, and they're still going to do what they're going to do.
Don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be
Trump
10
said he
times
hates
as
his
loud
opponents.
as you were this week. We have to speak out against this because he's not stopping. And it's not just comedy. He's gunning for our journalists, too. He's suing them. He's bullying them. Over the weekend, his Foxy friend Pete Hegseth announced a new policy that requires journalists with Pentagon press credentials to sign a pledge promising not to report information that hasn't been explicitly authorized for release. That includes unclassified information. They want to pick and choose what the news is. I know that's not as interesting as muzzling a comedian, but it's so important to have a free press, and it is nuts that we
got
aren't
some
paying more
fans in the
attention to
building.
it. Walter Cronkite must be spinning in his grave right now. He's dead, right? Yeah. Look,
Nobody
I never
knows who that
imagined I'd
is.
be in a situation like this. I barely paid attention in school. But one thing I did learn from Lenny Bruce and George Carlin and Howard Stern is that a government threat to silence a comedian the president doesn't like is anti-American. That's anti-American. And I am so glad we have some solidarity on that from the right and the left and from those in the middle like Joe Rogan. Maybe the silver lining from this is we found one thing we can agree on, and maybe we'll even find another one. Maybe we can get a little bit closer together. We do agree on a lot of things. We agree on keeping our children safe from guns, on reproductive rights for women.
No, I don't think we found one thing we can agree on. What I've noticed is what happens when, and again, this instance is a right versus left issue. When it's a left issue and Republicans speak out in support of the left, like they did in the case of someone like a Jimmy Fallon, and they say, no, we got to have free speech, it's fine. But when we have someone say like a Charlie Kirk and the right is saying, oh, we support this guy, he needs to be able to say what he thinks and what he believes, the left is like, no, cancel him, get him off the air, he's hateful, he's saying mean things about me, I don't like it. He's saying mean things about black people in the LGBTQ plus community. Get him off of the air. I don't think we found something that we can agree on, because there are a lot of people who still today, even after Charlie Kirk's death, are saying that this man shouldn't have a voice at all. So no, it's all cute, Jimmy, when the other side's on your side, but flip it. We know where that goes.
Social Security, affordable health care, pediatric cancer research. These are all things that most Americans support. Let's stop letting these politicians tell us what they want and tell them what we want. We are our leaders. There was a moment over the weekend, a very beautiful moment. I don't know if you saw this. On Sunday, Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him.
It's crazy.
That is an example we should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus, as I do, there it was. That's it. A selfless act of grace, forgiveness from a grieving widow.
Wait, Jimmy Kimmel believes in the teachings of Jesus? When did this happen? Okay, shout out to Jimmy. He's not saying he believes in Jesus. He's just saying, hey, Jesus has a lot of good things to say. All right, Jimmy.
We should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus, as I do, there it was. That's it. A selfless act of grace, forgiveness from a grieving widow. It touched me deeply.
Yeah.
And I hope it touches many. And if there's anything we should take from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope it can be that, not this. So
Amen.
Thank you for listening, and I'll have more to say when we come back.
All right, shout out to Jimmy, man. I think he did a good job. He didn't apologize. I didn't think he would. But he did give us a qualifier and say, hey, listen, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm Jimmy Kimmel. All right, guys, I make jokes. I poke fun. And what I said wasn't even that serious. So at the end of the day, Jimmy's back. He's going to do his thing. And then we'll see how long he makes it after this. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. Did Disney make the right decision? Is Jimmy right? And should he be back? Or should he still be looking for a job in the unemployment line? Let me know what y'all think. Shout out to the gang, man. We got 1,000 of y'all in here talking about what's going on with Jimmy Kimmel. Boy, I fight the urge to call him Jimmy Fallon so much, just because Jimmy Fallon to me was someone I actually watched on TV all the time. And I think Jimmy's funny. I haven't watched him. I haven't watched Jimmy in years, to be honest. So I don't know. Maybe he fell off. But either way, I think if the private local affiliates and distribution companies don't want to air him, that's their choice. But shouldn't be decided by the government. That's towing a dangerous line. I agree. Amy says he's loved by the leftists, obviously, and the lying politicians. Makes sense why some people see no issue with him, because there's no truth at the forefront. Yeah, it seems like Jimmy says what most people agree with, which is fine, but it is what it is. I do think he should move different as the president. He is supposed to be a leader of the country. He can't say things like that, but get upset when someone else does it to him. I think he can. I mean, he's still, yes, he's held to a higher standard, but saying he doesn't like a talk show host and that he should be fired, I mean, I don't see that as dangerous. He's not saying that he should be locked up in jail or they should take him out back, and he's allowed to have an opinion. And again, if you guys, it's always on one side. I didn't hear any of this conversation, and I'm gonna be honest, a lot of y'all were quiet before Trump was in office, okay? So again, y'all know we're equal accountability smoke givers here on this channel and on this show. And if we're gonna talk about it on one side, we talk about it on the other. I don't listen. I mean, yeah, you take what they say with a grain of salt. Just because some I can't read that. I don't know what it says. When what you say represents more than just your opinion, you no longer have the right to express your opinion in public. What? Huh? That doesn't make sense at all. Trump thinks that men can't become women. I support that. I mean, can they? I don't know. We're not going to have that conversation here, but I just think that takes a little common sense. Trans women are men. Oh God, here we go. Let's not do that. If you're 20 and think you're the opposite sex, Amy says, oh, we're starting the trans conversation now. That's a mental illness. If you're 6 and think you're the opposite sex, that's your parents' mental illness. Oh my gosh. Gender dysmorphia used to be in the DSM-5. Oh, are y'all really, y'all want to go down this path? We are not doing this today. Dang. If Ted Cruz says something I agree with, hell has a temperature drop. Satan better get his mittens out. Jimmy did the smart thing, the smart PR thing, acknowledge, never admit guilt. Yeah, he did. That's exactly what he did. Fallon is the superior Jimmy of the two. I like Jimmy Fallon. I mean, shout out to the Roots too. They're such a big part of that show. Yeah, and Jimmy, as I've said before, Jimmy Fallon's just so multi-talented. He's a good actor. He can sing. He can play. He's a musician. So he's a comedian. He does it. He really does it all. Jimmy Kimmel, is what it is. No one is saying that Kirk can't have his opinions. What? Jonathan, I want to read the rest of your comment, but if that's how you feel, you have been hiding under a rock. There are people saying what Charlie Kirk was preaching and teaching and his opinion was hate speech and racist, and that he shouldn't have a platform or be celebrated. So I want to read your whole comment, but dang, that is just not true. No one is saying that Kirk can't have his opinions. A lot of people are. Some just disagree with his opinions and feel strongly that he shouldn't be on a pedestal based off of his views. Yeah. Am I yeah, I keep saying Jimmy. Shout out to Jimmy Fallon. I'm just saying it used to be yeah, the Roots are amazing. If Fanny can wear her dress backwards in court, Kimmel can say anything he wants to. Yo, if Fanny can still be the district attorney, give Jimmy Kimmel give him his platform back. Lord, Amy's over there yawning. That's why I like being here. We can talk about both sides of the issue, both aisles of the issue, and we can do it respectfully. Praise God for this channel. Oh, thank you for that, Les. I appreciate you. If you have billions, you can become a woman. Oh, I'm not talking about the trans community today. I've already been called enough names. Shout out to Jimmy Kimmel. Jeez, man, I shouldn't laugh about it though. We need to just pray for that community. Oh man, that's crazy. How many people have been fired this year for things they said online? A lot. And it's not going to stop either. Because again, these companies can fire you for whatever. If you work at Chick-fil-A and you're at the front counter, you're like, beef is better. They better fire you. What do you mean? Yeah, so it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, imagine if, let's say, a manager at Chick-fil-A, or I don't know. I'm not going to go to y'all get the idea. Shout out to Jimmy Kimmel. And the sad thing is that there are people out there being a heck of a lot more than I do. I can't even buy a house for less than $1,500 a month. Okay, y'all are talking about something else. Let me see. Y'all saying Amy's on point. Greg Gutfeld has the Nightmare television slot locked up. I don't even know who that is. Taco Bell is hiring. Oh man. Trans is no, we're still doing this. Some people should not have children. And that's has nothing to do with the trans community. I think a lot of people should not have kids. Like I said, I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was till the news of him being shot. I think most of the country didn't till the president got involved. No, I don't think it was even about that. I think this man was assassinated in front of hundreds of people in broad daylight. I think that was probably what did it. All right, let's go ahead. And speaking of, we're going to get into, oh man, I don't want to say this is political, but it is somewhat political. And I don't even know who to put up here as a picture. And it could affect not only me, but us. And it's interesting to see what's going on with this YouTube platform. So let me I don't have a picture I can use here, so I'm just going to do this. We're just going to take this out and we're going to talk about what is going on with our dear beloved YouTube. I don't know if y'all saw this news or not, but we're going to talk about what YouTube has got going on. And again, we are equal accountability here. We're going to talk about the left side. We're going to talk about the right side. We're going to talk about the alts. We're going to talk about the middle, whoever. All right. When it comes to what is right, and especially the legal aspects of things, y'all know we're going to call it out here. Amy says, I'm the only one standing on business. Some of y'all fold with the crowd pressure. Come on, y'all. Listen, Amy, what you standing on business about? I'm sure she'll type it in the chat eventually. All right, here we go. So when it comes to what's going on with YouTube, there are some very serious accusations going against YouTube. And at this point, let's be honest, they're not accusations because we've seen the receipts. It's being reported that YouTube admitted to not only censoring YouTube channels during the Biden administration, but actually removing and shutting down channels because of pressure from the president. All right. So all those comments I saw when we were talking about Jimmy Kimmel, I want to see just as many comments on this one. All right. Because we're going to be talking about some of y'all's guy Biden. All right. And it gets ugly. What do we have here? We have YouTube admits it censored Americans under pressure from the Biden administration. This is wild. It says it will reinstate terminated accounts banned for political speech, namely probably COVID-19. I guess I could say that now, right? Can we say COVID-19 on YouTube? COVID-19, C-19. I mean, it got so bad, channels getting banned left and right, that people were using code words for it. They would type C-19 in the chat. There were channels that I had saw and been a part of that wouldn't say it at all. And they actually set it up so that their channel, if someone typed that on their channel, it wouldn't pop up because they were so worried about censorship. So this was a real thing that happened and affected a lot of YouTubers. What happened? The company terminated channels for repeatedly violating its community guidelines on electronic integrity content through 2023 and COVID-19 content through 2024. And we got the receipts, guys. Today, YouTube's community guidelines, allow for a wider range of content regarding C-19 and elections integrity. Reflecting the company's commitment to free expression, YouTube will provide an opportunity for all creators to rejoin the platform if the company terminated their channel for repeated violations of COVID-19 and elections integrity policies that are no longer in effect. So again, YouTube's pulling a Jimmy Kimmel. They're saying, hey, guys, I know what we did upset a lot of people. I know what we did made a lot of you lose your channels and essentially maybe your livelihood. But listen, I could see how that would affect you. I could see why you would be upset about that. But we did what we did. What? And now you don't have to worry about it because we're here. We're back, right? You guys can try again. And that's supposed to make everything better. YouTube values conservative voices on this platform and recognizes that these creators have extensive reach and play an important role in civic discourse. Oh, you don't say. The company recognizes these creators are among those shaping today's online consumption, landing much-watched interviews, giving viewers the chance to hear directly from politicians, celebrities, business leaders, and more. All right. So now let's hear from the House Judiciary, because again, guys, I said there's a whole legal situation that went on about this and some folks about to get exposed. Check this out. Google admits censorship under Biden. Yes. Boy, those comments are kind of slow right now. Where was all that smoke that y'all have for Trump? I don't see anybody commenting right now. Google admits censorship under Biden, promises to end bans of YouTube accounts of thousands of Americans censored for political speech. Today, thanks to the oversight of Chairman Jim Jordan, we're going to talk about Jim Jordan shortly, Google commits to offering all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations on topics such as COVID-19 and elections as an opportunity to return to the platform. Google also admitted the following to the House Judiciary Committee. 1. The Biden administration pressured Google to censor Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube policies. What does that sound like to you guys? It starts with a C. The next letter is an E. The next letter is an N. And an S and an O and an R and an S and an H and an I and a P. The Biden administration pressured Google to censor Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube policies, which YouTube said we were cool with it until Biden said we ain't doing that. We got stuff to do. Y'all shut it down. The Biden administration's censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong. Public debate should never come at the expense of relying on authorities. The company will never use third-party fact checkers. I know many of you guys have seen, if you're watching a YouTube video on a sensitive subject, like something that has to do with politics, or maybe that's something that has to do with health, or you're hearing from a doctor, it'll have the information below that says, oh, okay, well, if you need any real insight or any real thoughts on this, make sure you consult the CDC or make sure you consult this person. But YouTube says, hey, we're not using fact checkers anymore because they were all biased anyway. Europe's censorship laws target American companies and threaten American speech, including the removal of lawful content. These major admissions come after Chairman Jim Jordan's subpoena to Google and a years-long investigation into the company. And we're going to hear from Jim Jordan himself very shortly. All right. Also, we've got another article here from CNBC. YouTube allows creators banned for COVID-19 election misinformation to apply for reinstatement. Google owned YouTube on Tuesday said it will allow previously banned accounts to apply for reinstatement, rolling back a policy that had treated violations as permanently banned. The change applies to channels removed for posting COVID-19 or election-related misinformation, according to a letter from Alphabet lawyer Daniel Donovan to the House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan, Republican from Ohio. Previously, those types of offenses carried lifetime bans. Today, YouTube's community guidelines allow for a wider range of content regarding COVID and elections integrity. YouTube wrote on X that it will will be a limited pilot project open to a subset of creators as well as channels that were terminated under policies the company has since retired. Andrew Tate was one of those that got taken off of YouTube. I think there's a couple other, maybe like a Sneeko and several other people who were taken off of YouTube. YouTube also said its new reinstatement program will launch soon. Among channels previously banned under those rules were some associated with Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino, former Trump chief strategist Steve Bannon, and Health and Humane Service Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He was banned on YouTube? It's not yet clear whether those channels will be reinstated. I didn't know RFK was banned on YouTube. That's wild. This move follows mounting Republican pressure on tech companies to reverse Biden-era speech policies on vaccine and political misinformation. Boy, this is amazing. In March, Representative Jordan subpoenaed Alphabet CEO, that's Google, in case y'all didn't know, Sundar P, because I'm going to mispronounce his name, alleging YouTube was a direct participant in the federal government censorship regime. Man, the chat is quiet right now. Donovan wrote that during the pandemic, senior Biden administration officials pressured the company to remove certain COVID-related videos that did not technically violate YouTube policies. Guys, it's not okay. We just talked about this. This is not Biden saying, "Oh yeah, Andrew Tate, I can't stand that guy. I wish he weren't on YouTube. I don't like him." No, this was Joe Biden and his administration, whoever you want to say, because if we can hold the FCC chairman, Mr. Carr, accountable and basically say he was appointed by Donald Trump and spin that narrative that is basically Donald Trump doing it, what do y'all have to say now about this? And this just came out recently. This is taking it a step further, in my opinion. In the letter, Donovan says this pressure was unacceptable and wrong. YouTube ended its standalone COVID misinformation rules in December of last year. According to Donovan's letter, YouTube will not empower third-party fact checkers to moderate content and will continue to enable free expression on the platform, Donovan wrote. While Donovan writes that YouTube has not used fact checkers, the platform has produced programs that are meant to label context on videos. I told you guys about that. Similarly, Meta said in January, oh my, we got Mark Zuckerberg in here, that it eliminated its fact checker program on Facebook and Instagram. YouTube has a feature that will display information panels with links to independent fact checks under videos. The feature says it provides more context on videos across YouTube with information from third-party sources. In 2017, Google launched a fact-checking tool that would display labels on search and news results, which I just told you guys about. And you can actually, I don't want to skip ahead to another video we're going to have, but you can still see it on a couple of these videos. I want to try and find it. Actually, exactly right here. We're going to be talking about what's going on with this lawsuit against Tylenol, but you can even see it here. So this is what the third party fact checker looks like. And see, it says, hey, if you need vaccination information, you can go here. And they say the CDC vaccines have greatly reduced diseases. And we're going to get into that later. But anyway, just to give you guys an example of what that looks like, let's go ahead and hear this report from Fox. I know, y'all relax. It's a good report on what happened with Biden basically stepping in and say, get rid of these channels. Crazy.
Google announcing it will reinstate YouTube channels that were...
Oh, sorry. I have this super sped up. I always listen to it on super speed. Here we go.
Permanently banned for political speech, saying it was pressured by the Biden administration to remove content that did not even violate YouTube's policies. In a letter to the House Judiciary Committee, a lawyer for Google said, quote, it is unacceptable and wrong when any government, including the Biden administration, attempts to dictate how the company moderates content, and the company has consistently fought against those efforts on First Amendment grounds. Journalist and author Alex Berenson is suing the Biden administration now after he was banned from Twitter in 2021 for violating the platform's COVID-19 misinformation guidelines, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Alex.
Ainsley, good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on to talk about this. It's remarkable. Big tech, social media companies censoring people because of pressure from the Biden administration. Do you feel vindicated now that they're admitting this?
Well, I do feel vindicated. Jim Jordan has been doing a lot of work on this for a long time, and he's gotten documents out. But it's really nice to see Google come out and admit this. As some of your viewers may know, in 2021, I sued Twitter and forced them to let me back on the platform before Elon Musk bought it. So that was a small win for free speech. But right now, yes, I'm in the middle of suing the Biden administration, which obviously is not in power anymore, over what they did to force Twitter to lock me out, to suspend my account in 2021. And I'm glad to see this admission. My case is sort of in an interesting moment because the Trump administration really has to decide if they want to defend the Biden administration's censorship going forward. Obviously, I'm hoping they're not going to do that.
Well, Alex, this is what Google sent to the House Judiciary Committee, that Biden administration pressured Google to censor Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube's policies.
Disgusting.
Public debate should never come at the expense of relying authorities. The company will never use third-party fact checkers. So why now? Why are we hearing about this years later, Alex?
Well, it's a great letter, and we're hearing about it because of pressure from the House Republicans and Jim Jordan, who very aggressively went after Google, went after Meta/Facebook, would have gone after Twitter had the old regime been in place, and forced them to turn over these documents. And then Elon, of course, bought Twitter, renamed it X, but opened the files and showed that censorship too. And all of that plays a role in my case. I was able to build a very big sort of repository of documents, a lot of evidence showing exactly what had happened in my case, and it happened to other people too. I just happened to be able to have more evidence because of the various things that have happened in first my lawsuit against Twitter and now my lawsuit against the Biden administration. But this happened. We know it happened. We know the Democrats were censoring and pushing. Well, censoring is wrong because they weren't doing it directly. They were doing it through these social media companies. They were pushing social media companies, forcing them to censor people like me and, frankly, people like RFK Jr. He and I were probably the two people who faced the most overt censorship back in 2021. It was wrong then, and I really hope that the Trump administration will settle with me. And we can move forward from this because journalism is my right as an American, and it's wrong for the Biden administration to censor me. It's wrong for the government, whoever's in charge, to put pressure on these companies.
I know that you've said in the past that you voted for Donald Trump because he vowed to stand up for free speech. This is important. It's important to the country, and you've lived through it. Thank you so much, Alex, for coming on.
Shout out to Alex. I 1000% agree. Again, Carr overstepped. Should have stayed out of it. If you want to send an email, fine. But this dude went on a podcast and said, hey, man, y'all better figure this out. I don't like it. I don't like what he's saying. Change it. Not okay at all. Biden administration going to YouTube and saying, we're trying to push this vaccine for X, Y, and Z reason. We don't like what people are saying. They're attacking the administration and casting doubt. We don't like it. Handle your business. So YouTube says, okay, we don't have an issue with it, but whatever you say, Biden administration, not cool. Where's the outrage for this? Y'all were mad about Jim Kimmel, but there were people trying to, I'm not going to get into the COVID-19 conversation. I don't know. I might be next. Here we go. Check out Jim Jordan.
YouTube announced yesterday it would open the door for channels that were banned to be reinstated. Some of the bans were for posting about COVID-19 or the 2020 election. This comes after Representative Jim Jordan subpoenaed Alphabet's CEO, alleging that YouTube was a direct participant in the federal government's censorship regime. Joining us now, Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio. He's the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, and I'm glad to have you on, even though it's a phone. I know you're in the great state of Ohio, Congressman. I mean, we heard something similar a year ago from, I think, Facebook, sort of copying to the same thing, and I mean, is this similar to this with Facebook? They weren't allowed to put anything out about the laptop, I don't think, or the lab origin, the Wuhan virus lab origin. Yeah. Is this similar? Is it the same things that they were banned for, or different?
Very similar. Google or YouTube admitted yesterday that they, like these other platforms, were censoring. Were being pressured by the Biden administration to censor speech. I mean, you got one of these. Google is a huge market cap company censoring half their customers in essence. And I think the big takeaway was they're going to reinstate people that they'd actually taken their channel from them, that they kicked off. And then they also said they committed to never use these fact checkers like these other platforms, these independent fact checkers who think they're so much smarter than the rest of us, but are just biased individuals. So we thought that was a big news. And then I think that maybe the fourth thing that we heard from them was, look, what's going on in Europe. We've all seen this with the Digital Services Act, the Digital Marketing Act, are very troublesome. So here's a company who said, yes, the Biden administration pressured us We, in fact, did it. We kicked people off, took their channels from them. Those people are going to be reinstated. And we've admitted that what we did was not consistent with the First Amendment in any way.
Through the good old days, though, it wasn't called censorship. It was called
it is.
content moderation or rooting out. Hillary still talks about rooting out. It's got to be done. It has to happen. Yeah. Rooting out disinformation or misinformation in the eyes of the beholder, which was one of the problems. This is not going over well on with Democrats, though, Congressman. Representative Jamie Raskin issued the following statement. Today's letter from Alphabet has the ring of a false and coerced confession, like the shameful capitulations to Trump's shakedown of broadcast companies. And we can talk about Jimmy Kimmel in a second. And law firms. This humiliating performance is the bitter fruit of Trump and MAGA's relentless pressure campaign, forcing corporate America to submit.
No, I think it's missing the facts, because remember, the Biden administration, I think we citizens should never forget, they established a disinformation governance board, Joe, as if some bureaucrats can tell you what you can say, what you can read.
Where is Fauci, by the way? Does anybody know where that Fauci guy is? I got some questions I want to ask him. I probably shouldn't be saying his name publicly. I have some questions I want to ask that gentleman.
What you can post, what you can tweet. That actually happened. And but for a bunch of us all over the country saying this is ridiculous, that bureaucrats are going to decide what is misinformation, disinformation, what you can say, that is so inconsistent with our First Amendment liberties. And because we all spoke out, they disbanded that, thank goodness. But that's what's going on here. Not some shakedown or anything like that. They did it. They admitted to it. And you know, never forget, too, what they were censoring was responses and comments and tweets and posts about how they handled COVID. And I always point out, everything the government told us about COVID turned out to be wrong. They said it wasn't our money used at the lab. They said it wasn't gain-of-function research done at the lab in China. Those are both wrong. They said it didn't come from a lab. Well, it sure did. They said the vaccinated couldn't get it. They said the vaccinated couldn't transmit it. They said masks worked. They said 6 feet social distance was based on science. And then they told us first virus in history where there's no natural immunity. So they were 0 for 8, and yet they were censoring people who disagreed with all the crazy things they told us. So that's how bad it was. And now Google has admitted, just like Meta did a year ago, that, we were pressured to censor. We did it. We're wrong, and we're not going to do it in the future. And we're going to change the way we handle things going forward.
And that's the thing. Google did not say they were wrong. They said, we didn't have a choice, guys. It is what it is. What do y'all think about this, man? Are we going to hold the Biden administration accountable, just like we held the FCC chair accountable over this Jimmy Kimmel situation? I'll be interested to see what the comments say on this one. Y'all bet not justify this, all right? Do not justify this in any way. We're equal accountability smoke givers here. We're not letting the FCC chair get away with it. Definitely not going to let the Biden administration get away with it. Let me know what y'all think. Yeah, of course. Oh, Brooklyn, of course you're zipping it now. Y'all got nothing. This chat was moving slow during this segment. But when we were up here talking about Jimmy Kimmel, that chat was going crazy. Yeah, Trump, he did it. Shout out to Dottie's in the building. Amazing Grace is in here. I love you. I appreciate you. Rest up. Hope you feel better, all right? Just take it easy. Take it easy. Shaking my head. They're trying to control freedom of speech. It's ridiculous from anyone that does it, whether it's Trump, Biden, Adam, or Eve. Shout out to them. I was a poli-science major and wasn't prepared for the last 12 years. I'm currently going through a midlife political identification crisis. Come to the light, Jay-Z. I don't know how to identify. Malcolm X was right about foxes and wolves. Come to the light, Jay-Z. Join the conservative side. We got you. Facts. Doesn't matter left or right. That's true. They all be lying and they have their hands in the pot. It's all about the agenda. So you just got to do the best to research. You got to do your best to figure out who's going to move in the best interest of you, your family, in this country. And that's really all you can do. Obviously, yeah, they're going to be padding the coffers, as they say. Right. But what can you do? Biden administration needs to be held accountable. Bottom line, they messed up because they didn't want Trump in the office, near the office. Oh, okay. They didn't like it, but it cost him the 2020 election. Amy says, y'all stand on your business, Jimmy Kimmel lovers. We just love free speech. Amy is not having it. Amy said Jimmy should have been out of there. This is censorship 101. They did not remove our count from... I don't know what that means. You stopped voting? Oh, no, don't stop voting. Dang. I stopped voting when my home county reran elections because they found nearly a quarter of the voters were made by dead people. Yeah. Yeah, the election system's messed up too. There's some work being done to fix that, but a lot of people aren't seeing the bigger vision when it comes to immigration, looking at what the Biden administration was doing with immigration and how they were using that to affect the voting system. But again, we're not doing that today. Same people who cry over free speech cry over Trump's free speech. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Trump wants to say something about it, fine. Jimmy wants to say something about it, fine. Let him talk. Yet they didn't. They're reporting it now. Yeah. You cannot like what people say and speak on it. Free speech is not that difficult. I think the only issue I would have from a free speech act, a free speech standpoint is if it gets to a point to where you're inciting violence, then obviously, and we got to figure this out. Because if somebody, I don't know, if there's a group out there championing Charlie Kirk's assassination, and then they're starting to say, yeah, we need more of this. Yeah, this is great. We should do this. Then I think you might run into some problem. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to the paper ballots. Shout out to Aunt Bessie voting 20 years after her death. She was always a hard worker. Trump is the president. Many people take his statements as gospel. That is true. Common sense isn't so common these days, Amy says. Biden has one foot in the grave. Where is Biden, by the way? We're looking for Fauci and Biden. Y'all know where they're at? One foot in the grave and dipping his toes and dipping his other toe in there. Waste of money, but they should keep bringing it up. They'll ultimately blame the Clintons. ClassE, you just said it. The violence that comes out about the differences of opinion, that's wrong. Yeah, it's pretty easy. I know a lot of y'all came here for Karen Reed, so let's go ahead and get into this Karen Reed content. And let me update this title as well. So we actually have the official body cam footage, and shout out to LTL. All right. Shout out to LTL. I'll leave a link to LTL's channel where y'all can watch the full clips of this. And also Amy actually posted the full clip from when Karen Reed was transported and actually booked. I'm not going to play that here today. I'll let y'all go and check that out on Amy's channel. The link to Amy's channel is in the description, and y'all can go follow her over there as well. But we're going to review some official body cam footage from the several times when, I mean, let's be real. Karen Reed was harassed by the police. All right. She was arrested the first time. She got out. Then she was arrested again. And this whole situation is just so messy. Thank God I know Karen Reed is happy that this is over, but we're going to go back to a little bit of a rewind and watch when everything went down. All right, check this out. And there's no sound yet. It usually takes a second for the body cam to turn on. And I'm sure y'all will recognize some of the folks here. Y'all know who that is? Oh, there he is. That is your guy, Yuri, in the building. Amy, drop your link in the chat, too. You see Karen's on the phone. She's like, oh, the police are here.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Karen. We're going to come in and talk to you, okay?
Yep.
When we step in here. We step in here.
Okay.
Karen.
Yep. David, I have to hang up the phone. Okay.
You get a warrant, okay? You get some shoes I can get you?
Yes, they're right there.
Sucks.
The Nikes? Okay.
Yeah. You saw that too? It's so awkward.
Yep, we'll get you your wallet, we'll get your shoes, we'll bring your phone with you. Okay?
She needs her
Where's your
medication.
wallet?
It's in this black bag right here.
Can we turn these lights on in here?
And again, Karen, even in this video, didn't seem that surprised by this. I mean, she probably saw the lights. She might have knew they were coming. She might have heard something from somebody within the police department that maybe was still friends with her. But I mean, she just walked calmly into her house. It's like, okay, well, here we go. She might have been on the phone with AJ. Like, it's time, buddy. Get ready. Dang.
All right, just listen to Trooper Moore, okay? He's going to read you something for you. All right.
She's got her computer open and working.
Do you have anything on you that could hurt you, grab this, stab me, or damage or hurt anything? No? Okay.
Can I just?
Is it this?
Yeah.
You have the right to remain silent, and you can say anything that you use to the court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask any questions. To have him here with you during questioning.
Look at Yuri there.
The lawyer will be appointed for you. If you decide to answer questions now, you have the right to stop questioning at the time. You understand what it is? Okay, good charge.
Terrible.
There's a warrant for your arrest. We'll read those charges to you at the barracks, okay, when you look. All right?
So, while we stay warm until the MSP crew is here. You know,
Yeah, do you want a jacket?
There's a jacket.
Yeah, do you have a...
Right there?
No.
This one?
Right there.
Is there keys that we can use to lock up your house so it's secure? No, seriously, we want to make sure it's secure.
I usually use my phone, which this is my mother's phone.
You use your phone to lock the house?
Mm-hmm.
The phone that we have. Okay.
So is there like a key that we can...
I usually go to the garage.
Shouldn't be locked manually though, right?
Can we go through the garage? And
Yeah.
So is there, do you have access to the garage if you come back? So you're not locked out?
It's also...
And this is redacted personal information. This wasn't prosecution. This was persecution. Man. All of this is redacted. Trying to get information to get into unlock the house. Most likely.
I'm going to put your person in, okay?
So bring your ID and your mother's phone with us, okay?
In 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes.
Can I put that? Oh, yeah, okay.
You want the meds in that?
Right, yeah.
Resident?
Yeah.
You can just throw the meds in this bag.
That's not coming with you.
Oh, the bag's not coming with you? Can I just take my wallet then?
All right, coming up.
We have your ID.
Oh, all right.
We have your ID.
Cash, we have to figure out the bail, so we'll make sure you have access to bail.
Do you have cash?
Do you have cash?
No.
Okay. Well, obviously you'll call your attorney, then you can call and make arrangements for bail once we get all our money set. Okay?
All right. And how, do you want us to lock the house and then go out the garage, right? Okay. You're going to take care of it. All right, awesome. All right, thank you.
They gotta bring backup just in case. You
Leave
never
the
know.
basement door. Are they close to the basement? Can you leave the basement door that goes to the garage just unlocked? Because that's how people would come in normally. They'd access the garage through the keypad.
So the door into the garage from inside the house. Gotcha. I'll take care of it.
Really go down here?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Yeah, when they have a warrant, I don't think they have to come in. This is the body cam footage from Joseph Keith, by the way. It's interesting. And they already had the car.
Oh, right there. So what are we gonna run out?
You just wanted this unlocked, right?
Yeah, so I guess they just type in the keypad and come in if they're gonna come in.
Right. So we're going that way, right?
Yeah.
Which one do you want to try?
I don't know.
Left?
It's like
A little more room on the other side?
Yeah, it's more definitely. No, you're gonna have to make a run for it.
Now listen, y'all are saying why so many cops? You never know, man. People are crazy. And again, they had a warrant for her arrest, not for a traffic ticket, not for jaywalking. And they had a warrant for her arrest for manslaughter, right? So listen, you got to be careful. You just never know. If you ask police officer stories, there's been, like y'all said, are saying, little ladies like this who've gone one way, they've gone peacefully, just like Karen Reed here. There's been little ladies like this that have just gone wild. So you just never know.
Didn't do it. Yeah, I'll make a run for it. Which one was it? The top one or the bottom one?
Bottom.
Bottom?
Yep. Okay. Big step. I got one. I have to.
All right, I'm not recording me running back and forth looking. Oh, like a ninja.
That was smooth. I'm not going to lie. So this is when Karen Reed was arrested the second time. We got that video here. Just keeps getting arrested. And you guys are going to love this one. Guess who's in this video? Wait a second. Hold on. Let me rewind it back a little bit. Y'all recognize this guy? Trooper Proctor, the astute gentleman who always has something nice to say. Just an all-around great guy. It's wild.
Somebody's there. Oh, she's out back. Outside? Yeah.
He's holding his body cam too. That's Yuri on the right.
Somebody there. Doors open to the back.
Officer Justin Pye with the body cam. Proctor, yeah.
She's with them at the back door. She's in the house though.
Oh, there's more after this too. That isn't it. I'm in my pajamas.
I'm sure they're going to film me in my pajamas.
Get your phone and just let him handcuff you, please.
I'm getting charged with second-degree murder now?
That's correct. Vehicular homicide and leaving the scene causing death and or bodily injury.
All right, so there he is. We got Trooper Proctor, Yuri Buchanan here.
Subsequently, there's been an arrest warrant issued for you. That's why we're here. Yes, listen. Oh, we did this before. Everything worked out just fine.
Yeah, but I have no idea what this is about now.
This is about the same exact incident, okay? Same exact incident, okay? So we're gonna get you medication. Where's the medication?
Can I use the ladies' room?
She was trying to change her clothes, put some clothes on.
We're gonna get
all your parents, and they can come over and retrieve any item you need at once.
Yeah. Just like last time, we're gonna take care of it. What do you need for medication?
Am I spending the night in jail?
You can't keep asking me questions
Well,
without me answering,
okay.
okay? I asked you a question. What type of medication do you need?
I need
right now.
I need medication. I need some personal bathroom items.
Okay, what type of medication and where we can get it for you?
Person has side issues.
She's gonna say
up in my up in my drawer by my bed.
Okay, how many bottles? What's the name of it?
And I need medications in the bottom drawer of my bathroom.
Okay. So that's the stuff in your bedside?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's in the bathroom?
Can I have normal shoes, please, so I'm not on TV looking like this?
Yes.
it's too late. It's too late at this point. Dang.
It's in the bottom drawer of my bathroom.
Okay. I'll get that for you.
I can't put.
Hold on. What about the shoe wear? What kind of footwear do you wear?
Anything, but can I? These are. I don't even have underwear. Can I put pants on?
Again, your parents can come over here and retrieve anything.
But I don't want to be on Channel 4 in my pajamas. This is.
I wouldn't worry about the news right now. Like I said,
nobody's out there.
Yeah,
like I said,
they've been there every other time.
There's nobody out there, so I'm gonna get that medication for you. And
can I put pants on, please?
Can you just step aside, please?
They could have let her put some pants on. God dang, man. This is tough. And the way this woman was treated was even before this, because we know what this guy said about her.
At the foot of my bed. Can I just have a pair of
Sergeant,
jeans?
we'll get those. In the meantime, let's follow this trooper right here, all right?
But where can I put my pants on?
At the barracks.
Can I put them on before I go out of my house, please?
Ma'am, that's not part of our procedure. Once
Shouldn't I put pajamas?
The nerve of this guy saying it's not part of the procedure. Trooper Proctor, is it part of the procedure to text your sister about an ongoing investigation? Get this guy out of here.
You don't have a chance to change.
Through the barracks.
Just so you're aware, you have the right to remain silent. To choose to speak, anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to consult with a lawyer before answering any questions, and have him or her with you during questions. If you cannot afford a lawyer or want one, a lawyer will be provided by the Commonwealth before questioning and will talk to you. You may answer questions now in ways that means give up your right to counsel and your right to remain silent. If you decide to talk to me, you still have the right to stop at any time and for any reason. You understand what I've just told you, ma'am?
Yes.
You wish to speak to me at all right now?
No.
Okay. Have a seat there for me.
He said, "You want to talk to me?" Bro, get out of here. And just in case y'all are wondering, they did not get her pants. And she walked out of there in pants. She got arrested again. It gets worse. It's so sad, man. Let me skip ahead. Let me find it here. Oh, I think I picked the wrong one. Hold on a second, y'all. I think I got the wrong one. What I'm going to do instead of showing it here, I'm going to leave a link in the description to the third video. What do y'all think about this, man? Shout out to LTL for posting this. I'll leave a link to their channel too. I mean, the way this was handled by law enforcement was so messed up. And then knowing now that we know what Yuri Buchanan said about Trooper Proctor, what Trooper Proctor was saying about Karen Reed, and this dude has the nerve to say, "Oh, well, that's not a part of procedure." Man, what? Sad to see. And this isn't the worst I've seen. I'm sure some of y'all would agree too. Let me know what you think in the comments in the chat. Y'all are saying it's like they are purposely trying to taint her because constantly arresting. Yeah, they got her another time too. Nice driveway, they said. I wouldn't let him in my house retrieving personal items. Well, if you're there and they've got a warrant, I mean, they gonna get you. There's nothing you can do about that. We've got 1,100 of you in the building. Thank you to everyone that's in here. And all of you have liked the video. So thank y'all for liking the video, man. This whole thing was so bad. Don't even know if she did it. They failed to investigate it properly. So we'll probably never know who actually did what was right. Well, we might get some more insight during the civil trial. So y'all stay tuned for that as well, because Alan Jackson said in the interview we talked about yesterday and the day before that there's a lot of information they didn't get to share during Karen's first and second trial because of Judge Cannoni that they're most likely going to get in during the civil trial. So we may see some of the truth. Alan Jackson talked in an interview about what happened in the garage and in the basement. You can clearly see that there was maybe some foul play that took place there. So we're going to get more information about what went on and what all was seen. The officers are complicit in the murders of John O'Keefe. Dang. Garbage police work. This was all for her to take a plea. Y'all think you were trying to scare her? Think in their minds that it was her fault Brian killed him. Where's the dog? Where's Chloe? We never know. We'll never know. She didn't do it. There was no proper investigation. Excuse me. At 34 Fairview because it was a cop's house. Yeah, because cops always do everything right. Right? What? All right, let's get into this last topic. Y'all are amazing, man. Thank you to everyone who's supporting. This one's going to be an interesting one because I know y'all have been hearing about this. Let me see if I could find. I have a picture of our president somewhere. I've never talked about Trump on this channel. That's crazy. I feel like I've talked about him, but I've just never had a picture. There he is. I got him up there. All right, now we're going to get into this next topic, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. And let me make sure I didn't miss any comments before we get into it. Let me see. Okay, we're good. So I know many of you have probably heard what's going on with this whole situation with Tylenol. If you watched Charlie Kirk's memorial, President Trump mentioned on Sunday that he was going to be making a big announcement with RFK about something they discovered and something they found out when it comes to the health and national health, right? So Trump comes out and he talks about, President Trump, talks about Tylenol, and he tells pregnant women to stop taking Tylenol. Yes. And we're going to hear his exact words here in a second. And you're probably wondering, why are we covering this on this channel? There's been so many politics. Well, we're going to get into the history, not only of Tylenol specifically, what was said by Tylenol, what doctors are saying, and why there's a lawsuit against Tylenol for exactly what the president is talking about. Oh, it gets deep. Here we go.
Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. If you just can't, I mean, it's just fight like hell not to take it.
There's a strong response this morning from major medical groups that are taking issue with the White House's announcement tying autism to women using Tylenol during pregnancy.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen.
Acetaminophen.
Is that okay?
You got it.
Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol, during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good.
President Trump's messaging came with his health secretary, RFK Jr., by his side, who has long shared provably wrong theories about what causes autism.
They are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. Mm-hmm. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think.
This morning, major medical organizations are disagreeing with the president, saying that acetaminophen is safe for pregnant women and that the drug is important because untreated fevers can end pregnancies. The makers of Tylenol say that sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism. The president also claims that ingredients in vaccines and the close timing of childhood vaccinations could also be contributing to rising autism cases. The FDA commissioner standing by the White House's claims on Tylenol.
Acetaminophen has been given willy-nilly way too frequently without any discussion of the potential risks to balance out those discussions about the potential benefit.
But medical groups say that there have been dozens of large studies over the decades, and not one of them found that acetaminophen or vaccines cause autism.
There was a study that was done in Sweden where they looked over a 25-year period at 2.5 million children to see whether or not Tylenol taken during pregnancy increased the risk of autism. And it didn't. And more importantly, they did it the right way because they did the so-called sibling control. So they looked at mothers who took Tylenol during one pregnancy but not another. So you could compare those two pregnancies. And again, it found that there was no relationship between taking Tylenol and developing autism.
Dr. Edith Bracho Sanchez is a New York pediatrician who is pregnant with her second child and shares that she's still taking the drug herself.
Uncontrolled fevers in pregnancy pose an increased risk of miscarriage, of neural developmental defects. Knowing what I know about the risks of Tylenol in pregnancy versus the risks of an uncontrolled fever, I would take Tylenol again in this pregnancy.
The stock price of Tylenol fell dramatically because all of this. And Tylenol is a very important drug for pregnant women because they're told that they shouldn't be using that other popular painkiller, ibuprofen, because that one for certain increases the risk of miscarriage.
Okay, now, at first take, it looks like, oh, it's final. The president's tripping. RFK doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not a doctor. Some of you are even saying in the chat, where'd it go? Guys, please take medical advice from your OBGYN and not someone or somebody that doesn't specialize in pregnant mothers and babies. Well, we're going to get into it. As I mentioned before, there was a lawsuit against Tylenol, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But this is actually an older video I was able to find on YouTube talking about Tylenol and research that was done in link to autism and pregnancy. Check this out. Got to do your research.
Health news now. There's some alarming news today about the possible effects Tylenol may have on teenagers. New research shows just one dose a month may trigger asthma and may help explain the growing number of asthma cases worldwide.
Asthma affects hundreds of millions of people worldwide, and more than 9 million U.S. children under 18 have been diagnosed with asthma at some point in their lifetime. New research suggests that the extremely common drug acetaminophen, also known as Tylenol, may put teenagers at risk for developing asthma. The new information is published in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine. And while the news is worrisome for parents, Metro Health Medical Center's David Kelber says the studies are not conclusive.
There's no indication, though, necessarily that this means that there's a cause and effect. So I think it's important to be able to make that distinction.
It is.
Dr. Kelber is a pediatrician and internist who treats children and adults with asthma. He says the studies do establish an association between Tylenol and asthma, which is enough to take a closer look at how often a child is getting Tylenol, but not enough to clear out your medicine cabinet.
This isn't a message at this point to stop using Tylenol or stop using acetaminophen. I think this is an issue at this point that needs more investigation.
Now, one of the issues raised about these studies is that maybe kids with asthma happen to take Tylenol instead of the other way around. Hopefully, additional clinical trials will answer exactly what the connection is and find a reason for the jump in asthma cases worldwide.
All right, so we've got continued information and research being done. Y'all want to hear from a doctor? We're going to hear from a doctor. Check this out. We've got a doctor and pharmacist that are saying, hey, Tylenol's fine. Don't worry about it. Everybody's tripping. Let's see what they have to say.
I believe current recommendations at this point are lowest dose possible for the shortest time possible. And I don't think anything changes with any pronouncement by the government.
Dr. Brian Lee is a professor of epidemiology and biostatistics at Drexel University.
If you ask the expert clinician bodies like the Society for Maternal Fetal Medicine and the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, or any number of other expert sort of bodies, they've all reached the conclusion that there's no strong evidence to support that acetaminophen used during pregnancy increases risk of autism or ADHD.
He spoke to journalists online Monday after President Trump's announcement at the White House linking pregnant women taking Tylenol to a heightened risk of autism in their children.
Our study, as well as others that have done the same thing, find no evidence to support this possible association.
Following 2.5 million pregnancies and their children for 20 years, it was a study Dr. Lee led in Sweden with results published in the Journal of American Medicine last year.
The big elephant in the room for neurodevelopmental disorders is genetics.
Dr. Lee, a new drug was mentioned today by the White House along with the benefits of folic acid.
So, first of all, folic acid is an incredibly important nutrient that we know affects neurodevelopment. It's been 30 years plus since folic acid deficiencies were linked with neural tube defects. So the idea that folic acid is somehow important for neurodevelopment, that's not, no one is questioning that. The difficulty with promoting leucovorin at this time is that the existing evidence for leucovorin for treatment or alleviation of autism symptoms is remarkably premature.
Meantime,
so they're saying they don't know yet. All right. Well, we're going to hear from one more doctor and a couple more doctors actually on this, because I want you guys to really hear what the professionals are saying and then look at what's being said by the company. Let's keep it going.
Should they take it or avoid it? Even though the makers of Tylenol say it's safe, pregnant women across the country are facing a real dilemma after yesterday's announcement from the Trump administration that it can lead to autism. Allison Hall reports.
Expectant moms across the country are expressing frustration and confusion after President Trump warned pregnant women to avoid Tylenol.
Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it.
It was a bit bewildering.
The nation's top TV doctors tried to calm everyone down.
It's not as simple as don't take Tylenol, I think, as we heard the president say. And women really should be speaking to their doctors at this point.
It is the safest alternative in terms of lowering fever and lowering pain. It's safer than aspirin or ibuprofen, which can cause problems during pregnancy.
These pregnant women teach Fit for Mom exercise classes in LA.
Are you afraid now, taking Tylenol, being pregnant?
No, I talked to my husband about it. You know, we're both on the same page that what our doctor recommends is what we'll follow. But yeah, I'm really not worried about it.
Ella Steiner is expecting her third child in 2 weeks.
Does it give you concern when you hear the president saying don't take Tylenol?
Obviously it does.
Blair Smith is 8 months pregnant with her first child.
Have you had to take it while you're pregnant?
Only a few times, like from back pain and stuff like that, but not a ton of it, thankfully.
If you were to come down with a fever tonight, would you have any hesitation about taking Tylenol?
No.
Tara Stutzman, who lives in Mamaroneck, New York, is a mom of 2 sons. 13-year-old Finn has autism.
I took Tylenol with both of my pregnancies. I have one son who's on the spectrum and one who isn't. It had everything to do with, genetics or parent age, all of the things that the science is telling us. I do not think Tylenol usage had anything to do with my son's autism.
That's fine. So what does Tylenol have to say? We've heard from the doctors. We've heard from the president. We've heard from RFK. Well, we didn't really hear from RFK. We've heard some studies that have been done linking to asthma, which is another issue. There's other studies that have been linked to ADHD. What did Tylenol have to say? So let's go back and do a little bit of a rewind and see what Tylenol had to say on their public X account about their own product. What did they say? Tylenol says in February 15th of 2017, sometimes the best headache relief is getting outside. After all, brisk air is still fresh air. And then there's a comment that has since been removed. We don't know what the comment said, but what does Tylenol say in response to this comment? Tylenol says, when it comes to our product, we actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns today. Oh, but we're not done. There's another one from Tylenol. They say, if you're pregnant or nursing, seek the advice of your health care professional before using Tylenol or any other medication. Why would they be saying this? Well, one of the reasons they're probably saying this is because there was a lawsuit that was filed against Tylenol back in 2022, I believe, and we're going to get into it a little bit here shortly. Just going to read you guys the overview. I'm not going to give you the full details of it, and I can drop the links to it in the chat. But what happened with this lawsuit? Tylenol autism lawsuits are being filed nationwide with a new Tylenol autism class action lawsuit. This was before Trump was even talking about it. President Trump was talking about it. Technically, as an MDL, a multi-district lawsuit, as we explained below. Now certified in federal court. But as we discussed below, that MDL is on the thinnest of ice. So it's not looking great for the MDL. It says, we encourage parents interested in bringing a Tylenol lawsuit to be considered filing a toxic baby food lawsuit. All right, so here's another path. They're talking about, hey, you need to file a toxic baby lawsuit or a baby food lawsuit. We're not going to get into that. What is the updates, or what are the updates on this lawsuit? Before we discuss the substance of the Tylenol autism lawsuit, let's understand where we are with the Tylenol class action lawsuit. Below are the latest updates in this litigation. In September 22nd of this year, just a couple days ago on Monday, President Trump talked about autism. According to the Washington Post reports, the Trump administration plans to publicly link acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, to autism and advise pregnant women not to use it unless they have a fever. President Trump promised a major press conference on autism, claiming his administration found the answer. On September 10th, we have the Second Circuit arguments. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit is scheduled to hear oral arguments on October 6th in a series of lawsuits claiming that taking Tylenol during pregnancy may increase the risk of autism in children. These cases are a part of the broader Tylenol MDL that has consolidated hundreds of claims alleging that acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, can disrupt fetal development when used by expectant mothers. The appellate court's review is considered pivotal because it will address key scientific and evidentiary issues that will determine whether these claims move forward in federal court or are dismissed. On September 8th of this year, Tylenol released this report. The federal government has not yet begun drafting its long-promised autism report, but FDA Commissioner Marty Makary said it will be released within a month. The report is expected, as we talked about on Friday, to explore possible causes of autism, although Makary, excuse me if I mispronounce your name, seemed to downplay speculation that Tylenol used during pregnancy will be a center focus. All right, what did RFK report earlier this month? The stock dropped on Friday after reports surfaced that Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will soon release a report linking Tylenol use during pregnancy to autism. The Wall Street Journal reported that the HHS review expected this month will not only raise concerns about acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, but will also suggest that a folate-derived medicine may help treat some autism symptoms. Wow, very interesting. So let's actually look at the lawsuit, and I'm going to want to read the first part of this lawsuit for you guys, and then you can make your own decision and do some more research into this. If you want the link to the lawsuit, I will leave it posted below in this video. So what's the complaint? We've got Tiffany Rutledge, an individual and as a mother, general guardian of LR and CR, they're minors, so we're not going to say their names, versus Walmart. What's going on here? What? The plaintiff, Tiffany, and the kids involved by and through the undersigned counsel bring this complaint for damages against the defendant, Walmart stores, and in support state the following. This action is brought on behalf of the plaintiff, Tiffany Rutledge, the natural and general guardian and mother of LR and CR. They're going to be called the children moving forward. Both minors arising out of the failure of the defendant to warn about the dangers of prenatal exposure to paracetamol, also known as acetaminophen. It's going to be referred to as APAP, and its propensity to cause autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, in complaint 1. and ADHD. So there's two things they're trying to link it to. All right. As a result, the plaintiffs have suffered permanent injuries and significant pain and suffering, emotional distress, lost wages and earning capacity, and diminished quality of life. Plaintiff respectfully seeks all damages to which they may be legally entitled. Defendant either failed its duty to adequately warn of the hazards of prenatal exposure to APAP, which is a direct and proximate cause of the plaintiff's injuries and associated damages. All right, we've got the individuals here. They're suing Walmart, the venue and jurisdiction. We're not going to get through. Let's look at the counts here. We're going to go APAP, or we'll just say Tylenol, is marketed as a safe pain reliever for pregnant women, but Tylenol can cause ASD and ADHD in children. Tylenol is widely used by pregnant women to relieve pain during their term or during the term of their pregnancy. Tylenol was initially discovered in the late 1800s. Tylenol was introduced to the U.S. market in 1955 as the first aspirin-free pain reliever. Tylenol was originally marketed and sold as a product to reduce fever in children, packages like a fire truck with the slogan, "For little hotheads." That's crazy. Tylenol is sold in billions of units annually in North America alone. Tylenol has long been marketed as the safest and only appropriate over-the-counter pain relief drug on the market for pregnant women. More than 65% of women in the United States use Tylenol during pregnancy. Based on information and belief, a majority of the women who use Tylenol during pregnancy do so effectively for the treatment of headaches, muscle pain, back pain, and an infection. The pregnant women electively choose to take Tylenol because the defendant has marketed Tylenol as a safe pain reliever for pregnant women. They're talking about Walmart. However, increasing experimental and, I'm going to mess this word up so bad. We'll just say experimental. Experimental research shows the prenatal exposure of Tylenol alters fetal development, which significantly increases the risk of neurodevelopment disorders, including but not limited to ASD and ADHD. Oh, well, we want to see this research. Undisturbed development of the human brain in utero is vital to the health and wellness of a child's development. The human brain is vulnerable and extremely sensitive in utero. During the sensitive time period in utero, certain chemicals have been found to cause permanent brain injury at low exposure levels. Oh, this is getting scary. Once ingested by the mother, Tylenol is known to readily cross the placenta and blood-brain barrier. ASD is a serious neurological and developmental disorder that affects how people interact with others, communicate, learn, and behave. There are 3 functional levels of ASD. Level 1, requiring support with activities in daily living. Level 2, requiring substantial support with activities in daily living. And level 3, requiring very substantial support with activities in daily living. Treatment of ASD include behavioral management therapy, cognitive behavior, speech therapy. Y'all know all this stuff, all right? Treatment of ASD lasts a lifetime and there is no cure. ADHD is a chronic neurodevelopment disorder, which we all know very well about. Y'all were talking about it in the chat. ADHD, man, they were trying to give everybody something for ADHD back in the day. All right, so we'll go through this and keep it moving. What happened to Tiffany? All right, the plaintiff mother took Tylenol during pregnancy and it caused ASD and ADHD in her children. All right, so the children from August or September 2008 to April 9th, she used the products. All right, so she used it for a year. The plaintiff mother, we'll say Tiffany, used Tylenol products throughout her entire pregnancy. So the kids and Tiffany used Tylenol products starting in December 2010 or in January 2011 through September of 2011 when she was pregnant with the second child. During her pregnancy with the second child, Tiffany took Tylenol products for almost every day. Oh my goodness. Every day? She took it every day towards the end of her second trimester and during her third trimester to address problems with her hips that arose during pregnancy to treat food poisoning. Oh man. Tiffany believed it was safe for her to take the Tylenol products during both pregnancies. Tiffany thought she could take Tylenol freely and without risk. There is no warning on the Tylenol label, specifically addressing the risk of ASD and ADHD if the mother ingests Tylenol while pregnant. Had the plaintiff mother known, had Tiffany known of the risk of taking Tylenol while pregnant, specifically that it could cause ASD and ADHD in her child, she would have not taken Tylenol. All right. The first child was born in April. Second child was born in 2011. The first child was diagnosed with ADHD. I mean, hey, can y'all drop a 1 in the chat if you were ever diagnosed or think you would likely to be diagnosed with ADHD at any point? If you were born in the 90s and even some in the early 2000s, yeah, most likely. All right. Child number 2 was born in 2011, and that child had ADHD and she believes that this child, the second child, has ASD. She's waiting on an evaluation. I don't know what the result of that evaluation was. We should have the results of that. All right. And then we've got statute of limitations as well. And then we're going into the counts. I'm not going to get into this. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. This is what. And then with Tylenol themselves coming out and saying, hey guys, you might not want to use this while you're pregnant. Just talk to your doctor. We're going to stay out of it. It's insane. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. I got to give y'all another round of applause. We got 1,400 of you in here, and nearly all of you have liked the video. Thank y'all for the support. Big shout out to Les Cleaver for showing support. Shout out to Amy for dropping the cake with the super sticker. I see you in there, Amy, reminding me that it's lunchtime and it's time to get that cake. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all. We're going to be dropping some more clips later on this afternoon. We will also be live tomorrow morning as well. We'll have another great show for you guys. If you want to check out independent music from some of the artists in the community, make sure you tune into the Song of the Night live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be live again, and y'all should see the thumbnail for that dropping later on this afternoon. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for the support. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time we go live. Subscribe to Amy's channel too. Y'all make sure you go check it out on your way out as well. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. As always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace.